Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Town of New Windsor's work session for March 17th, as rescheduled on the 17th due to potential severe weather. Welcome tonight. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from February 17th's meeting, February 17th, 2026 work session meeting. You all should have received those minutes and reviewed them at this point. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Motion to accept the meeting minutes as written.
Okay, we have a motion to accept February 17th's meeting minutes as written. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept February 17th's meeting minutes as written. All in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Second item on the agenda is our GMB proposal, planning, design, and bidding phase services for our wastewater treatment ENR upgrade. Councilman and staff discussion. I suppose that will be led by Town Manager Dye.
Yes, Jason Lytle and Bradley Hogan with GMB were scheduled to be here last night but couldn't attend this evening. They are scheduled to attend the April 20th work session. Originally couldn't make the April council meeting, that's why they chose the March work session. But I did want to keep this item on the agenda to afford the council the opportunity to review GMB's responses to previous questions and provide any additional comments. I sent GMB's responses to Councilman Wolf-Mallow and Councilman Howard's proposal questions for review on Tuesday, March the 10th. Connor, there's a GMB folder in there with, I think it's 5 or 6 documents. I put everything in there. There are proposals in there, dated February 17th. There's their PowerPoint presentation, which they'll go into at the April work session. There's an email also kind of outlining the PowerPoint presentation with some highlights, and I did provide you copies of that because it has some good background information on the wastewater plant and what they've been working on, and then the responses to both council members' questions. Stay on track with the ENR schedule that's proposed in GMB's proposal and MDE funding. It's imperative that the council provide any additional questions on GMB's proposal in writing to me by Monday, March 23rd, to allow GMB time to respond ahead of the April work session. And I just want to emphasize that we've been talking about this ENR upgrade for a while, a couple years now. And I've been saying push is going to come to shove sooner or later, but we're getting to that point very quickly. So we're going to need a decision from council whether to move forward or not in the very near future. Obviously, we're going to be listening to GMB's presentation at the April work session, but I'd like to get any additional comments that you all might have to me by Monday, and then that way I can get them to GMB to respond in time and get back to you before April work session.
Gary, can I ask a question? Maybe you're able to address it based on Bradley's email.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 on his email is throwing me for a loop. Number 5 talks about, and you know, coming down through 3, 4, and 5 talk about us asking for $165,000, and when we get down to number 6, it talks about MDE published equation for adjusting eligibility based on flow expansion.
Right.
So is that telling me that because we requested flow expansion at $165,000 up, you know, from our $115,000, that MDE is only going to allow us $125,000
And at a reduced eligibility.
Say that again?
At the reduced eligibility of 59.52%. That's the way I read that as well.
So that's telling me that we're only going to possibly be able to get 59% of the grant money. It's going to cost us $6 million to do the project, and our expansion, because we can only go 80% of that, puts us down at 100,000 EDUs, which is only up I'm sorry, it's only up 48,000, which only gives us 32 additional EDUs.
Well, when they came in the last time and presented, there was discussion as to how to put in, at what level to put in the preliminary engineering report.
Right.
And that took some time to get that worked out, that number from the county and that 165,000 gallon number.
Right.
So you all agreed to go in for that number.
Correct.
And then MDE would have to consider that reasonable growth. Right, which has not been determined yet. They still don't have MDE's comments as of yesterday.
So where does that then 125,000 come from?
I was puzzled on that as well.
Okay.
Because he's assuming an allowable capacity of 125. I guess they're thinking that MDE is only going to give us 125 of the 165 suggested, which is 10,000 over our current permitted capacity. Is that what you're getting? That's what you're getting at?
Well, it's 10,000 over our current capacity, our maximum. But when you take 80% of that, that's only a difference of 8,000. And then divide that by our 250 number that we use, that gives us 32 EDUs. That means we could build out 32, and it's going to cost us $6 million to do it. Now they back it up saying, well, if you don't take the $6 million and you have to fix your plant, it's going to cost you $6.25 million.
So I read that as 6 and 7 are a comparison of replacing the tanks or upgrading the system to current capacity, not that the 165,000 gallon is dead or expected to be dead. It's just if you were to upgrade the current tanks, it's 6.2. Right. And if you were to upgrade the system without asking for more growth space, it's 60% of the share, which is 6 million. So if we were to stay kind of status quo, it's 6 million either way. And if we look to upgrade, then we get additional help from MDE. That's how I read it. It's not worded great because I see his point too.
You read it different than I did, because
I absolutely see how you're reading it. It's like, oh, okay, maybe that's what it is. Right.
I'm hoping it's your way.
Because 6 and 7 are together, and start at 7 is for comparison. I don't see it as bad news. I see it as if we were to replace at current capacity, we could expect 60% assistance versus the 70 we're shooting for.
Except that 125,000 is not our current capacity.
Well, it assumes it's 125 is the current limits and then the SSA. I don't know if this system has the calculation different than what our current system is calculated as, to where it all kind of equals 125,000 at the end of it.
So Gary, I guess if you go back to Bradley et al. Before the next meeting,
Get some clarification on 6.
yeah, because that's wow.
I read it that way as well. Because if you go to the one slide that has the cost estimate, there's 2 slides that have proposed grant eligibilities, basically based on their breakdown of cost. And the first, well, it's the first one really, where you see the 70.71% is what we were, I think is best case scenario, which they were saying that. And then he drops down to the 59.52%. But again, that's just the number in this chart. In his description, they're adjusting and making assumptions on allowable capacity based on MDE's equation for adjusting that. So again, I don't know the nuts and bolts of that formula to provide any additional information on it. So I will reach out to them for number 6 to get some more clarification on that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep. Anybody else have anything?
Any other questions as we stand? All right. We'll move on to item number 3, trash collection contest, discussion options and dates. Okay, I'll take that one. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the town of Mount Airy is actually sponsoring I think I may have mentioned, but if I didn't, town of Mount Airy is sponsoring a trash, it's called Let's Talk Trash. It's a community trash collection contest. And currently, I believe the towns of obviously Mount Airy, Sykesville, Hampstead, Tawnytown, possibly us, and I'm not sure about Manchester. We talked about possibly jumping in and doing that. The challenge is the last week of April, we have our Town Beautification Day. And typically, the folks doing that or participating in that are the people that you see right in front of you.
And their spouses and kids sometimes.
And their spouses and children at times. So to add another event like that on there, we'd certainly need a lot more hands than the hands that we typically have. And the only weekends we would be able to do that would be the 18th and the 11th.
Yeah, those were the
So
dates we discussed last meeting.
yeah, so that sounds like, oh, that's next month, but it's next month and it's really only a few weeks. So to coordinate enough folks to get out there and really make a difference, we'd have to decide to do that tonight. I don't want to twist your arm either way, but we don't have a ton of time to do it. And we did mention, I think, there was some discussion about maybe gathering some folks with from the business community, the business roundtable, to see if they could do it. That meeting isn't until Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, so we'd really have to jump on this to get in. So I'll leave it up to the council on that. They have it every year, not to sway anybody's decision, but they have it every year. I will tell you that I would love to see us really put some effort into getting the town beautification bolstered a little bit with more hands to help with that. Not to say that we can't do both, but I would think that we need to make that more of a priority, because last year was a little bit of a disappointment. I thought there were going to be several more hands involved, considering it was an election year and people wanted to get out and meet, and it was essentially the same folks. So,
Kim, did you?
I had emailed Gary about, I had emailed Gary about this too, because we talked about it at the MML dinner the other night, and I love a good competition with another town, don't get me wrong, but the reality is that we're a lot smaller than, what did you say, Mount Airy?
Sykesville and Tawnytown.
I don't know where they're getting their volunteers from, but they have a bigger pool. I agree with Kevin. I don't think that it would work this year, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't have a combination of trash and beautification, what we currently do on the same day. But the same issue exists. We have to get more people to do it.
Right.
So if we could, start, I don't know, you guys are going to the business thing, Josh, and, see if you can get any interest from them, if people would be willing to sign up for next year, involve their staff, if there's a different day of the week, I don't know, but.
I think that for this year, our efforts probably should focus on the beautification day, trying to get more support for that.
Well, I'm out of town on the 11th, so I could not participate. And, although I could do it on the 18th, then we're talking 2 Saturdays in a row with the same people.
Right,
And
right.
that's probably unreasonable to expect any more than us to be there. And, I think we can beg out of it this year and say our town's pretty clean.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can
We
do
don't
that.
have that big trash bin anywhere that we need to empty out, and concentrate, as Josh said, on our beautification day.
Have we formally announced Beautification Day outside of this conversation?
It will be formally announced per the newsletter that's coming out in a week and a half.
I would maybe do it now.
We should probably post on social media just to,
Yeah, I mean, we're a month out.
just so people can, mark it on their calendar.
One of you guys could share it on the other groups thing up there,
I put the beautification day in my, and it's gonna be in this newsletter, so.
Thinking the Facebook page though as well,
Okay.
multiple times, and if anybody's got contacts at FSK still,
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what, I do actually.
shoot a message and offer credit hours.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I'll reach out to the
Anybody
principal.
wants to show up and pick up trash while we're planting flowers, hey,
Has anybody checked the website recently, or Facebook? It's not posted?
I know Anne Marie didn't put it on there.
I'll get her to post it tomorrow.
I believe the Public Works is gonna do bulk trash that same day.
same day, yeah.
Yes.
Does bulk trash count towards the trash pickup?
Questionable.
Down to Mount Airy, dump it, see what we picked up?
Speaking of participation, I know this wasn't on the agenda, but this is just kind of gauge interest on that. Many years ago, several years ago, we used to have a government shadow town or council shadow day where students would come in and they would essentially assume the roles of our positions. I know we tried to do that with Northwest Middle School, given the fact that we don't have a middle school here anymore, a public middle school. I was wondering if there was interest of doing that again, because I've mentioned it to several middle schoolers and high schoolers. Middle school at West Middle, which is Westminster. I was thinking more maybe since we don't have a middle school, we could maybe do it with the high school SGA. I mentioned it to the principal, and you mentioning FSK made me think about the principal. So I can reach out if you all are interested. We need to pick a day.
So Kevin, typically that falls in November, and
Right.
that goes along with MML's government.
Something month.
Yeah, it goes with government month, and you guys have to submit, if you have to go to the summer conference, someone has to go to the mayor's conference, and there's 3 other things that you have to hit in order to be able to get the banner city.
Yeah, it helps us get the Banner City thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was in line with that.
It was a few years.
And it's a fun.
It's a lot of
It's a
fun.
fun meeting.
Yeah.
Typically, we've had middle schoolers, and we would write their speeches, and they would read it and pretend they're you, and you would nudge them to get them to motion for the things, and it was kind of a hoot. And typically, all their parents and everything come, so we actually have people here in the audience.
We did last year. It was Neil's last one, I think, last year.
Wasn't last year.
No, it's 2 years ago.
Yeah, couldn't get it going.
Unfortunately, folks were just kind of reluctant to do it. I thought we had, when I was working at Northwest, I think we had about 3 or 4 kids interested, but then they didn't, I guess, it takes parent involvement. That's why I was thinking maybe moving it up to the high school level and see, you know.
Well, if they're
yes.
involved in the student
Yeah,
government, they
maybe,
might be.
yeah.
There might be something in Banner City where it has to be middle school.
Oh, is that right?
If I remember reading correctly, yes.
Okay,
I think
well-
so. I can't remember the whole deal because it's been a while. I'll find out and make sure. I'll make it my last official task, yeah.
So let's, before you do that, I'll gauge, is there interest in, doing that? I know there's at least one council member that has a middle schooler who will be in high school next year.
Oh, yeah.
Get him over here before he ages out, you know?
I think he's already not asking for birth certificates.
All right, so
Just one more thing about the
Sure.
beautification day, for all of you listening out there in TV land, it's the 24th, Saturday, the 24th of April.
5th, I'm sorry, 25th.
Saturday, the 25th of April at 8 a.m. we start. And we go out to all the town parks, and we plant flowers, and we mulch, and we clean up. And again, somebody wants to bring a bag and some gloves and pick up trash, that would be great, but it's a great way to volunteer in the community, so let us know if you're interested, or just show up that morning.
and I'm pretty sure the earth will be tilted just enough that we won't have a snow day. So,
Mayor is promising that.
yeah. All right, that was item 3. We're gonna skip item 4 and then go to item 5. Fiscal year 27 budget, final draft budget discussion.
Okay, before I jump into that, I also put in the folder, the updated revised, budget schedule, just for some information. So, the April 1st council meeting, we will do an ordinance for that date. And, if we're ready, which we very well should be, the council will make a motion to introduce that budget ordinance. And then we will post the notice of hearing, or public hearing, on April 8th. We do have a work session in between there. And then May 6th council meeting is the budget hearing and adoption. And you adopt the budget in a per ordinance from the April 1st, the introduction meeting. So just to keep you on track with that. So I'll get the ordinance ready. I can do that, right?
Yeah, whichever's easier.
Yeah, we'll get that ready. And just,
Be here at the first, but I could get paperwork.
I think I can handle it. Thanks.
It's the exact same.
Yeah, and just a reminder for the 6th meeting, I'll be in that Maryland Rural Water Conference that week. So I will not be in attendance, but we should have everything ready for that. Have the hearing first thing, we'll go over it, Kevin, and just that's in here just to look at for the last couple meetings on the budget.
All right, thank you for that update, and now we get into the fun part.
Yeah. So our budget is, I'm gonna say 98% complete. Rundown from the latest changes since the March council meeting. General fund is balanced. The revenues and expenditures total, the total is on the revenues, there's on that second, no, it's at the bottom of the first sheet. Totals $1,584,850, which is an increase of $42,910 from fiscal year 26. Prior to balancing, the revenues exceeded our expenditures by $93,828, and this number goes into the revenue excess to balance general fund, which is for future capital reserves line item at the bottom of the public works category. If you scroll down further there, bottom of the public works category line, you'll see where that 93,828 number was input to balance the general fund.
Page 2.
That's page 3 at the bottom of Public Works on the printout. So that line is for when your revenues exceed your expenditures, which is a good thing. Some line items to note, the revenues under the miscellaneous, the bottom bottom line item there, highlighted in gray, I believe on the color copies. I just wanted to mention that because to explain what that is, again, that's the opposite of what I just said. This line item is for the event that your expenditures are exceeding your revenues. So, we don't have that, in this case for general fund, but that's what that line item's for. You'll see that come into play in the enterprise fund. Let me see here. Under expenditures, the capital projects, Connor, there's a capital projects, in the folder there, and those are the proposed capital projects for fiscal year 27, for general fund and enterprise fund. So just want to highlight those. I'm going to grab my copy of that too so I can tell you what's included in those different line items. So under the total for capital projects in general fund is $140,500 total, and then also list on that sheet there the 5 road segments that we're planning to do, but that's with highway user revenue, so that those totals are shown separately. That the one thing to note that we've cut down a good deal on our capital projects. So you'll see decreases. For instance, in capital projects, and general fund is decreased $277,000 from FY26. The municipal building line. Catch up to you here. The capital projects there are $69,000, and that is, let me get this. Those 3 projects in there are the retaining wall for the dumpster area down at Gear Lane, the town hall building behind Old Town Hall, exterior repair and paint, and small box trailer for events and emergencies. So those are the 3 proposed projects that make up that $69,000. Under the public works, capital storm drain project, that's $20,000. That's the same that we had in there before. That's for repairing manholes and storm drain manholes and sewer manholes and valve boxes and things like that, pavement, small areas. That's what we did with it last year, and CPE did 50 couple of those last year. And then capital vehicles and equipment, that's $19,000. That's half of the ATV cost. So the ATV cost is estimated at $38,000. That number gets cut in half for general, and it gets cut in half again for water and sewer. So again, that revenue excess balance to balance the general fund is the $93,828 that I mentioned above. Under the parks and activities, town activities, we increased that by $22,000 per your direction at the last meeting. And then capital park projects is $32,000, and that is there's 3 projects in there: Lions Club Park pavilion windows, pavilion floor painting, and then Atlee Ridge tot lot tree removal. So those are the 3 projects that make up that. And then under the miscellaneous category, the healthcare benefit, that increased $6,500 since the last meeting for a total increase of $17,500. And we have to plan for the new clerk treasurer taking health insurance. We're not sure about that till the hire. And then the short-term disability and life insurance increased $200 since the last meeting. Total increase is $350. And then retirement increased $500 since our last meeting for a total increase of $900. So that's to add the town administrator and CEO promotion and plan for a new clerk treasurer. So that is the general fund. Again, the total is $1,584,850 of revenues and expenditures. Any questions?
No questions?
From me.
I think we're ready to proceed.
On to the good stuff. Enterprise fund. Good news is we are balanced to date. Revenues and expenditures total $1,837,431, and that is a decrease of $85,781 from fiscal year 26. I'll explain a little bit of that in a minute. Prior to balancing, our expenditures exceeded revenues in the enterprise fund by $177,731. And this number went to a new line item at the bottom of the revenues. It's enterprise fund reserve transfer to balance. And that's where the $177,731 is input as a revenue, which is a transfer from the reserve to balance the enterprise fund. So the difference you'll see, and I'm going to talk about some revenue increases, but you'll notice that the capital reserve transfer for water projects and for sewer projects in fiscal year 26 was each $286,931. And what we did, that was the first year that we put the line item specific capital projects into the budget. And that took the proposed capital projects for fiscal year 26, the totals, and then we just lumped it together and split it in half to balance the budget. So what I'm doing this year is I'm putting in the specific line items for water and sewer that we're planning for, and that's the 147 that you see and the 57.5. And then the 177,731 is the remainder to balance. So I should have broken up the first year the same way, but we're doing it the same way this year. But you see the parentheses numbers in the increase column. We've cut back on our capital projects by a lot. I don't have that number right here in front of me, but I can probably get it really quick.
So Gary, real quick, the 177,731 is what we are short, or do we need to add that to the cap reserve for both the water and sewer projects?
That's the deficit, that is the deficit from expenditures to revenues.
The 177 or all three?
Well,
You've already taken into consideration your two capital projects. So when you look on the water, your capital projects will total 147, so your revenue offset it. So the 177.73 is a deficit from general operating expenses for enterprise.
So that's what we're under.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
No problem, I got you.
all right.
One more time, I got you.
One more time. My sidekick. Let me get that
You're till
total.
Friday, Gary.
I know, I'm off Friday. Let me get that total for you guys. Hold on one second.
I'll call in on Friday and ask you a bunch of questions. Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Dana,
we
can you?
reduced those capital projects in that far right column. If you add those together, it's $369,362 less. So that's kind of, I want to explain that difference a little bit. Then on the revenue lines, we looked at the sewer usage, sewer usage and hookup fees for water and sewer were adjusted to, we added another EDU for a property at 2800 New Windsor Road that Director Myers has been working with the owner, developer, and the plumber. So we're pretty certain that that's going to get hooked up to water and sewer. They're on well and septic, believe it or not, right there. It's right across from the entrance to Snyder Summit, that house that sits by itself. Yeah, so that we're planning that to add. So we've added another EDU. And then we also updated our user and EDU numbers from Director Myers and Water Sewer Billing Clerk. I sent some information to Councilman Wolf-Malo, and you pointed out there were some differences, and we looked at that. Wayne and Kim looked at that closer and made some adjustments on that, so thank you for that. So our sewer usage receipts increased $7,750 since the last meeting, but that's still running below, and again, I explained this last meeting, that the numbers we put in for the 26 budget did not account for the adoption of the tiered system rate that changed those numbers. That's what the difference, that was a mistake on my part. The sewer hookup fees increased 1 EDU, which is the 8,830 since the last meeting, for a total of 35,325. The water usage receipts increased 17,000 since the last meeting, total 55,650. And hookup fees, 1 EDU is for water's 10,875, so that total is up now 43,475. So if you add those four lines together, including the negative, it's still 106,450 to the good. However, I said due to the significant reduction in capital projects, the net revenues decreased 85,781. Is that making sense? Connor shaking his head. Josh shaking his head. All right. Any questions on that before I move on?
Have we looked at projected water and sewer revenues to finish out this fiscal year? Like how much we're expected to receive?
Well, our year to dates are up to date as of the end of this. Well, I mean,
I'm gonna get you a number right now, Connor. Give me 2 seconds.
I knew you were going to ask that question.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Excuse me. So, expenditures in the water, just a couple highlights. Service contract lines increased 9,000 per Director Myers. We have more contracts in water than we do in sewer, because you'll see in sewer we've reduced it a little bit. So your capital projects, again, back to the capital project list, total 147, which is a decrease of 88,000 from fiscal year 26. So let me catch up here. Again, the capital vehicles and equipment, the 9,500 is a quarter of the cost of the ATV, and then the capital water projects is total 137.5, and those projects are meter and MXU replacements, Atlee Ridge Certificate of Potability and Engineering, bring the well online, Hillside wells hydrant installation, and then the lead and copper rule main line replacement and service line replacements. So those 5 things there total the 137.5. Under the sewer, let me keep this flipped over. Under sewer, we have service, like I said, service contracts. We reduced that by 7,000, and there's less service contracts in the sewer. Sludge disposal continues to rise. It's a tough line item. That's increased 25,000. I updated those projected numbers, and I also used a 5% inflation rate on the disposal rate at the Westminster Septic Facility. I've been asking since they started doing that ENR upgrade, and I still haven't gotten an answer. I'm expected to get I've been in touch with actually the comptroller, Jenny Hobbs, took over for Rob Burke as comptroller a couple years ago. She said within the next 2 weeks, which is about the first week in April, she should know if there's an increase in that. I put a 5% increase on it because I know it's coming, and just the amount of hauling we're doing each year we consistently haul pretty much every Friday, anywhere between 6 and 10 loads depending. So
I'm guessing there's no wastewater treatment facility that we would be able to put in that would eliminate hauling.
Sludge press, but I don't think that's in. They talked about that before I even started here. Those things are big time money and a lot of. I've seen them work. I've seen them in action. They're actually very neat. But they're with the ENR upgrade. The sludge hauling would reduce, I believe. But I have to look back through their PER report. But I think there's factors in there with the upgrade that would wouldn't eliminate the sludge hauling, but I think it would reduce it.
Well, there was kind of a trade-off on that as well. The sludge presses, we have less hauling because it's dry, but we have to then retreat that sludge the second time, or the system has to be able to handle that. And so it was a bit of a trade-off, and that sludge press was big bucks, right? Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, I believe you can press to a consistency to land apply.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it at Hampstead wastewater treatment plant. It just completed an E&R upgrade probably 2 or 3 years ago. They have a press there, and it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the best dirt you've ever seen.
Can you sell that?
I don't know if they're selling it or not. I mean, it's of the content where you can land apply it per MDE, but I'll be selling it. But it makes a good bit of it. They basically roll roll-off container in there, and they have the presses in a building, and it comes out a conveyor belt, and then the conveyor belt drops it and runs forward and back and fills that bin, and they come and haul bin away probably once a week. One of those dumpsters like we get down for bulk trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they fill one in probably once a week, from what I remember. Take a field trip out there. It's a pretty neat plant. Anyway, sorry.
Manchester?
Hampstead.
That's a,
I know this is a county plant.
I was gonna say, that's a county facility, isn't it?
Yeah, county operates that plant. And Hampstead,
Sewer system, and that's just where it is, yeah.
Hampstead's unique not only because they're getting Dana Mangus, but their wastewater is run by the county, and the town runs the water in Hampstead.
Figure out how to get that deal for us while you're on it.
Do. To answer your question, Connor, I would say you can add an additional $174,000 to sewer usage, and then $166,000 to water usage.
Give me those again, Dana.
Estimate, yeah.
Give me those again, please.
166 for water, 174 for sewer, additional revenue. Spring tends to run a little higher because everyone's watering plants.
So pretty close to 26 budget for sewer, but more for 26 budget on the water side. But just kind of looking ahead.
Let me check something real quick, another spreadsheet, because I made that same observation, and I want to see if it's holding true. Josh, that spreadsheet I sent you on the water sewer calculations is where I'm pulling my note here. Yeah. So which ones did you say was going to be higher, and which one's going to be lower, or what?
Sewer is going to be about the same. Water is going to be more than the 26 budget.
Okay.
27, I'm doing it in my head.
Came up with too, looking back in previous years, that water usage rates and revenues are historically higher than projected, and sewer is actually a little bit less. But the difference, sewer is closer to budgeted. But less, and water is usually higher.
Kind of gives us a cushion over budgeted. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a lot, but it should help a little bit next year.
Checks and balance, we came to the same thing there. All right, where did I leave off? So we talked about sludge disposal. Let me close this spreadsheet. The other thing there in sewer is the 3 R's, 3 R's operating system maintenance. We reduced that 40,000. We're just, our year to date's only 8,300. It's probably gone up a little bit, but we collectively got together with Wayne and Public Works and knocked that back 40,000. Engineering services, we cut that back 25,000. And then again, the capital projects for sewer total 57.5, and they are manhole lining, Blue Ridge subdivision at Maryland 31, and manholes before the pump station, and then CCTV work in Blue Ridge subdivision to see what additional lining we want to do. And then Atlee Ridge bypass for when we upgrade that pump station, we want to establish a bypass so that we can pump and haul a lot easier and more efficient. So those three, plus then your other capital vehicle and equipment, the $9,500 quarter of the cost of the ATV. And then under personnel, the healthcare benefit, again, is increased 4,000 since the last meeting, total increase 10,000. Again, that's the, bringing on the clerk treasurer and planning for that to take healthcare. So again, the total, let me get to my last page. Budget is balanced to date. If there's things that need additional moving forward, they hopefully should be minor. And where it'll affect is those line items that we use to balance things out. Those last line items will, if we increase one, we'll decrease the other. So that's kind of where we are. The total, where'd that go? So total expenditures and total revenues for our budget is $3,222,281. Again, no rate increase.
No tax increase.
Budget ever.
10 years of no tax increase, folks.
Say that again, Kim.
10 years, no property tax increase.
Tax rate increase, yes.
Sorry, I've been corrected by the lawyer.
Somebody who says my taxes went up.
Yeah, tax rate, that's not our fault.
That's the value of your house.
Your house is worth more.
That should be a good thing, too.
We all like our values to be higher, but not our tax.
That's right.
So any questions on that? I know that's a lot of information, but
I just thought of one question, Gary, and I might have missed something in here. Aren't we getting some project open space this year?
we have 4 projects that we have been awarded project open
So
space.
how much of that does that cover?
We don't even have them listed in
Okay.
any of
Okay,
them.
that's,
We do a journal.
Just a wash.
entry. We do
Okay,
as soon as we
okay.
get the funds,
That's what I
we,
was asking.
We do a wash in the journal, and it's.
If you look at, I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead. If you look in the plan,
yeah,
capital budgets, there's some italics numbers there. We had originally planned for Lions Club Park Pavilion roof and gutters, and we combined that with the pavilion interior and exterior painting and block wall repairs. That's an included project open space.
Okay.
And that's what we got at $48,013 on that one.
Okay.
So we got the lights at the park, which have been installed or almost done installing. We got the basketball court, which we've issued that contract. We met with Remsburg Paving, and we're looking at some, he came in under budget because of we don't need the retaining wall and the grading, so we're looking at some additional things, possibly a full court there if we have the room. He's gonna provide some numbers and putting a bench, and a trash can in there and things like that. So those 2 are underway, and then Public Works is working on the RFP for
Spring House.
the Spring House, Sulphur Spring, and then the other project out at Lions Club Pavilion. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, if there are no other questions, we will move on to item number 6, pedestrian safety improvements for Townview Circle, Snyder Summit. Did you have information on that, Councilman Wolfmallow?
Yeah,
Not to put you in the spot.
Councilman Howard also put some stuff together,
Okay,
using his engineering brain.
nice.
All those engineers.
So, without getting into too much details, but we had the bus stop in our community is Has a lot of kids in the elementary school, and it's pretty chaotic around the 15-minute window that the bus is picking up. There's no crosswalks between a couple of the intersections. My child got hit by a car this past week. Fortunately, she's okay. But, I think there's a few things that we could do to improve visibility. To the way people are parking there, and then also defining crosswalks for the kids to cross, because currently it's like a free-for-all because there's no guidance for them. I mean, some of them are 5 and 6 years old.
Is this in Townview Circle or at 31?
Anytime you circle at the top of the hill.
Josh, is that at the top where the divided road ends and the other road loops back in?
Yep, so there's one stop sign at that intersection, coming down the hill from the top side of the community. Yeah. So the side that, like kind of where Connor's mouse is, there's a stop sign at the end of there. That's the area where the child was hit. But I think that, things to consider is making it a three-way stop or a two-way maybe. I personally am in favor of a three-way stop there, just so that way cars are, the speed limit's only 15 miles per hour, but the number of people that do 15 is probably less than half.
That's generous, probably.
So it's right here where the stop sign is?
No, down.
At the intersection, yeah.
So you can see that the white line is where the stop, making that a three-way. There's also a, where that crosswalk that goes between the last townhome and the first single-family home, there's a crosswalk there, but the no parking sign is kind of in an odd spot. It allows people to park completely blocking the crosswalk.
I think it's just pardon me for interrupting, it's a depression.
Looking to see if it has.
Yeah, it's like an ADA.
Handicap, or, yes.
It's an ADA compliant ramp there, but people park in front of it, completely blocking it, which is what causes the kids to kind of walk at a diagonal. So between there being no lines and cars completely blocking the crosswalk, it's pushing kids to it's kind of chaotic.
Was there any downside to changing the parking?
Well, it would probably reduce the parking in front of that one home by one. They have a driveway. There's more street parking available, but directly.
No, we're talking about the single family home.
Across the street there?
Fire
You see where that
yeah.
where the crosswalk kind of enters there, where the grass is kind of not visible.
But there's the ADA, yeah,
Right there.
Right there.
So the no parking sign is just on the right of that, so people can park completely blocking that crosswalk.
To right here.
Yeah.
So just pushing it down so that the crosswalk area is clear.
Pushing the sign down towards 31.
20 feet to the left, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where the mouse is.
Just so that there's not parked cars, because a kid that's 4 foot tall coming in front of an SUV, you can't really see them until it's too late.
Well, could we actually paint a crosswalk there, because it's not really and put up crosswalk signs? Can we do that?
Well, it's town road.
Yeah, it's a town road, right?
So where does the
Assuming
bus
that
comes at? Does it?
It's up at the bottom of the hill.
Stops on 31.
The bus is right here.
So a lot of the probably 75% of the kids walk to the bus, and 25% get driven, depending if they're on the other end of the community. But if you were there during that 15-minute window, Deputy McGinnis was actually there the day after the incident, and he noted that that it is kind of a little chaotic, just because they're small children.
A lot of kids, too.
There's a lot of blind spots, there's cars, and also at the same time, there's a special needs bus that enters the community, which is, I think, maybe contributed to this, causing like a visibility issue. But there's a lot going on in that 15-minute window for the elementary bus specifically.
So for the specific situation where this accident happened, or the things that you just suggested, things that would help with that not happening again, or is there something else besides that?
Well, I think it would just help, open up the visibility.
No, I think it's a good
keeping the
idea.
kids giving the kids some guidance as to where they should be walking,
Walking.
and trying to prevent cars from
Blocking that.
blocking access to the crosswalk where the kids should be walking, and stopping the traffic with stop signs, I think
I
will
love
go.
stop signs, but I mean, you never can put too many stop signs in for me, that's fine with me. But that, I would be worried about, would that cause any problems coming into the development?
So that was the questionable one. I think that the other two ways can definitely warrant a stop sign. The coming in,
Yeah,
that one is 50-50 for me.
Why you say that coming in would be a problem? Is it
'Cause they're
the
coming up the
backlog,
hill.
backlog in the
Yeah.
lane out to 31?
Oh, yeah, that's a potential
It
point.
could, and also they're coming up the hill, so I think it would cause more visibility issues as well.
yeah.
We stopped all of a sudden right in front of him.
So the two-way stop situation would be where the one stop sign currently is,
Yeah.
and then the other stop sign coming direction, like as you're leaving.
Where the mouse is.
Basically,
Yep.
exactly.
That would afford us stopping where both the crosswalks are.
And again, painting crosswalks, yeah.
The crosswalks are not demarcated on the pavement, they're just where the ADA
There's just ADA ramps.
steps
for
go
ramps.
down? Okay.
So,
So you look at getting two of those painted, to the crosswalks?
so
Signs.
to piggyback on this a little bit, I've talked to Wayne a little bit about crosswalks and markings on the road throughout the rest of town as well. Because I live in Old Town, more so for Old Town, just because that's where I'm experiencing it. It certainly makes the town look more professional, more official. We have, instead of an alley ending into another alley, we have stop lines and such. But I think it would also drive home one-ways, do not enters, that type of thing. We're not relying on signs, it's also painted on the road. Same thing out here, crosswalks in out here, crosswalks in Blue Ridge and Atlee. He was gonna look into a little bit of pricing. We talked about the thermally applied ones instead of actually having a crew come out to paint.
User money for that.
Good question. Dana asked if we can use highway user money for crosswalks.
It's a good idea.
It's a marking.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
can,
paper
I can.
yellow lines.
I can certainly find out.
Add that to your Friday.
I already sent you the one answer.
I saw that.
Let me go Google that right now.
That might be an MML question.
I think it could be very logically argued in our favor.
I could see a sign not counting,
Not
but
being, but a marking could be.
For this particular case, though, I mean, given that, I mean, I've over the last week since this happened, I've driven through, and it's quiet right now, but I've seen it in the morning, and it is, if you're just driving on 31 and right by it, there's enough for you to catch your eye. But I drove it after it happened, and it's part of things is it's congested,
Yeah, it is.
you know, because it's just a lot going on, and from that, it looks like there's a lot of room. There's really not a lot of room in there.
Rooms are not
Nope.
really
Yeah.
narrow.
So, at minimum, I don't make the ultimate decision, but I would certainly be in favor of putting crosswalks there so that people see that, you know, and in 20 years, there won't be as many kids. I mean, every development goes through that and it's cyclical, but I think for the immediate need, there is an immediate need to do something because there are gonna be kids there for the next 10, 15 years.
Also,
And
I don't know exactly how many kids get on the elementary bus, but it's quite a few.
it's a
10
bunch.
years of
It's a
at least,
bunch,
yeah.
yeah.
Josh, I don't know if they do this anymore, and this be something your HOA might be able to do. Do they have crosswalks or crossing guards anymore?
I think those are limited for kids that walk to school.
Right.
so yeah, like in Tonytown, there is one, but it's paid by the town,
Yeah.
out of their budget.
And they're usually pretty near the school.
And yeah, it's right, it's on the main strip, Baltimore, that leads right across, yeah.
But I don't know if there would be any limitation to the HOA having somebody volunteer to do it. Wear a vest and a sign? No?
I'm sorry, the lawyer's ears went.
Over here.
Someone volunteering. If someone asked me, should I volunteer to do that, I would say, what a gracious person you are. No. The potential liabilities there are
Yeah.
great.
Sure, there's a safety training course.
The bus
All the things.
into,
Well, I think that's why the safety patrol went away. I don't know how many of you all were safety patrolmen, but I was. I think back,
By name.
I can't believe they entrusted fourth and fifth graders to make yeah, I got you. I think I have my shield somewhere. I got a little.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Also think
So-
about not just bus time, you're going into summer season where kids are outside. Like my neighborhood on those 80 days, they were packed. Every kid was outside.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Like, it's
there's a ton of people that walk
Yeah,
through our
you have
neighborhood.
dogs and all that, yeah.
Crosswalks are make the community safer for everybody.
there's a ton more foot traffic through
Yeah.
Old Town.
Yeah,
now,
I'm sure.
Especially last week.
Because it's nicer.
And that kind of brought it all back to like, hey, Wayne and I talked about it a couple months ago. I just think it would help out here, it would help through town, it would help in the developments, and we don't have to hit it hard right away, we can phase it in, but I know it's not, those thermos aren't that expensive to put down, and it absolutely is a safety thing, but also a dress up and make the town look better thing too.
We are getting them at the major intersections here with our streetscape. project.
Right, but any of the ones that are going either across Church or Main, well, not Main because it's a state, but Church, Lambert, Maple, any of the cross alleys.
That's where there's sidewalks.
Any place where you've got the ramp down to the road should probably have something.
I do want to find out if we can use highway user revenue for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if we could just get a crew in here and
Yeah.
Yeah, because and
knock
I
it
don't
out.
know if,
Yeah. they,
I think CPE, who's been done our paving the last couple of years, they sub out that work.
Right.
And that's the not the thermoplastic stuff, but
Right.
they sub that out. But if we can use the highway user money for that, then we can try to work that in with the next contract for paving.
I don't want to put words in Wayne's mouth. He didn't sound like it was too large for Public Works to do, the thermos, but at an entire town scale, maybe that's a little different of a thing.
Or a combination of because we usually, like I say, when we plan to do roads, we measure them and we plan full depth reconstruction.
Right.
And we rarely have to do that. So we usually typically come in under budget because we're not using great GAB for the base. Most of the times we just don't need it, but we plan for it. So a lot of times we'll get done to the end of the list of roads we're doing, and we might throw another road in because we have extra money. But in this case, we might want to say, bring your striping crew in and do some intersections for us. So if we can use it that way.
Even if you can't, you have a surplus of general fund funds.
The other thing you brought up when we were talking is the a town-county agreement that we get, that
Yes.
$87,000.
Yes.
I checked into that last year, and
No reg.
there's no limitations on what you can use for that.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Well,
That's
At the very least, while we do some research on the crosswalk, whether we can use the highway user funding and
Yeah.
how that would work, whether we want to make it a part of a bigger project in town, could we address the two signage issues?
We can do that ourselves.
yeah.
a public
yeah,
works thing,
I
I
don't
think.
lose sight of what brought this to our discussion. Number one, let me just take a step back. How is the young lady that suffered the injury?
The last I heard that she was doing okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so
About as well as you can be for kidding.
that's good to know, because that was, man, when I got your email, that was, I mean, anybody with kids would imagine it had to be a frightening situation, and not placing blame on anyone, but that's something that we can maybe help out. So if we can initiate,
It's under the general fund revenues, the county town program and county road grant. It's $87,500.
So what would the next step be to take care of something for,
Like to add at the start to move the no parking sign and add a stop sign.
2 stop signs.
1 or 2 stop signs.
So definitely one on the street that comes this way.
Definitely on the one leaving the neighborhood.
Right there.
Wayne probably has an opinion about the hill just because of putting a stop sign at the top of a hill in the snow and
yeah,
stuff like.
I even haven't,
Yeah.
that would
And
be
also
difficult.
Potential for queuing traffic on the highway.
I was thinking snow coming up the hill. I was thinking queuing traffic out there.
Because he does focus a lot on like making sure that at least that hill is salted, I know, because it is a pretty steep hill.
Yeah.
So 2 stop signs and potentially crosswalks.
One stop sign.
Okay.
There's already one this way.
Move the parking sign.
And and moving the no parking sign to the left.
But it sounds like we could use this town-county money to do all the crosswalks we want.
Restrictions on the use of that.
I checked-
I mean, you know, other than.
It doesn't hurt to find out if we can use HUR, but if,
So according to Maryland Transportation Code 8-408, permitted use of highway user revenue funds, construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of highways and streets, transportation facilities as defined, traffic control, and traffic safety related activities.
That's highway user.
Yes, 8-408 of their code. Any other questions you guys need by Friday? Answering.
She is showing off, look at her.
I'll call you Monday.
I'm gonna put you on the no-call list.
That's right.
yeah, blocking.
It's not important for this discussion, but.
Highway-related infrastructure, did you know that?
I did not know that.
All right, well, thank you all for bringing that. Well, it was an unfortunate situation, but thank you for jumping on that. All right, any other questions, any community, any residents' concerns? All right. Any other questions?
Why did we jump over that? Are we not talking about that tonight?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Fourth, item number 4.
Okay.
Due to the fact that I'm leaving, it was a retirement plan, 457, and it was just not enough time to properly present it to you guys.
All right.
All right, given that we don't have any other items, we'll entertain motions to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we won't hear you.
We've gotten out in months.
From the last meeting.
Yeah.